Sup nerds, welcome to the dungeon. I'm Aaron.
I'm Tom.
I'm Wes.
We're Never Board Gaming, and we're going to take a look at Welcome to the Dungeon by Yellow Games.
Now you guys may be thinking, what is Welcome to the Dungeon? I don't know why you're laughing, but Welcome to the Dungeon is it's just a bluffing game, really. That's all it is.
Press your luck.
I would say it's more press your luck. There, you bluff in it, but I would classify it as a press your luck game more than a bluffing game.
Why don't you just, stomp all over my point, bro?
Actually, it's a little bit of both, though. You're bluffing while you're pressing your luck. So,
Exactly. Thanks, Aaron/Mom. I will say I'm kind of surprised as to how much I like this game. Traditionally, I'm not a really big fan on small box games as a whole. I do feel like, small box games have to be, pretty good for me to, even include them. Because, that's a small spot on my shelf, both the size of this box. But, I'm not going to have 50 small box games. I'm going to have, 10, So if I'm going to narrow down the hundreds of games that I play to just picking 10, all 10 of those games need to be really solid, right? There's no room for fluff. And this game, I didn't really think to be fluff. Now, I did the first time or two I played, I was like, okay. But the very first time when I picked up the first card, I'm starting it, and I look and I see the dragon, and I put it down, I put it in. I'm like, I have that information, and that's so much information. That's so much power. Now I know what's in there, and I can watch and go, I know that the very last card is going to be extremely hard to beat. Now, there were some tiles that could beat it, but if I can sneakily remove those from the game and then back out and not go into the dungeon, that would be perfect. And I felt so awesome for that whole round. And I really think that is what this game is trying to give you.
On the flip side of that, you do have some rounds where you get all basically cards that don't tell you anything. Each of the 4 classes has an item that basically auto-kills a group of people. And if you draw one of those cards, no one's going to remove that from play because it's going to automatically, everyone's going to back out. It's like, whoa, without that, I'm not going to be in the dungeon. And if you draw only those cards, you can have a really boring round where you just feel like, I don't know anything. So, I could try to take things away and hopefully there's other bad things in there and they pass out. Or I could try just to stay in and see what happens. But ultimately, that's very much just roll the dice, see what happens.
Well, I would agree with Wes that you certainly do have boring rounds, right? I mean, I've had boring rounds, but each round lasts 5 minutes max, right? It says on the outside of the box that the game is about 30 minutes, but I believe that to be the accumulation of all the rounds, because really, ultimately, you don't win round per round. You win by either being last man standing or being the first to get 2 victory points. So that can add up to be about 30 minutes, but you're only having small snippets of boring rounds, I believe.
So actually, whenever you get knocked out the first round, I went into a dungeon one game, first round, and lost. That changes the game because then every dungeon you go into after that, you have to win or you're out of the game. So it adds that level of pressure to you that you're like, okay, I think I could beat that as long as I don't take out this other item.
So it raises the stakes for you.
Yeah.
Now everybody else has their cushion, but you don't. Mm-hmm. So you're either super incentivized to not go into the dungeon, or you're incentivized to make sure the dungeon is as pleasant as possible.
So there is a little bit of variety in the game, and that there's 4 different roles you can play as: the mage, the rogue, the barbarian, or the warrior. So you're not playing the exact same game every single time. You can kind of pick which character you guys are playing as, or mix it up between rounds, and they each add a little bit different take on the dungeon.
I feel like the roles actually changed it enough where they actually feel like it's almost a different game. The rogue, you're sneaking past the big monsters, and if you kill the really tiny monsters, it adds to your health.
I would agree with Aaron. It definitely changes it a little bit more. Yeah, it's not super drastic, but definitely the warrior's the most boring, and the mage is the most interesting, I think, and the rogue, I believe, to be the most difficult to try and, I'm going to remove one of your items because I'm trying to make the dungeon really bad. I want you to go into that item. I want you to go into that dungeon without that item and lose, because all of their items are pretty powerful in their own way. So once I remove one, everyone's like, I know what he's doing. So I feel like they are different enough, but obviously, not super game changing. Overall, I actually enjoyed Welcome to the Dungeon a lot more than I thought I would. You know, I'm usually not that big a fan of small box games or press your luck games, but I felt like you really had a lot of control over mitigating the luck, and there was a lot of bluffing, there was a lot of playing the players. So I really felt like this game did something that not a lot of my small box games do.
I really enjoy press your luck games, so this game was like right up my alley. And small box games are actually one of my go-tos now, just because I find that I have less and less time to play games.
Mm-hmm.
So if I can find something that is fun and fits into a short amount of time, then that's gonna be something I'll pull out to play.
I honestly gave this game a solid pass. There were rounds that were fun, but I had more boring rounds than fun rounds. And like Aaron said, I don't have a lot of time, and so if someone wanted to play this one, I wouldn't like say no. But I definitely wouldn't ever pick this game off my shelf.
That's 2 thumbs up and 1 thumb right down the middle. Make sure to check the link in our description to our review for Welcome Back to the Dungeon.
It's also right up here.
So if you like what you heard here, be sure to check the link in the description below to buy a copy of this or that.
And while you're down there, make sure you leave a comment and tell us which one of us you agree with if you played this game. If not, tell us what you're excited about to play it. Anyway, don't forget to subscribe so you'll never be bored.
Yellow.
Yellow!
Yellow. I yellow.
I yellow?
Yellow? I think it's supposed to be yellow.
Yellow.
I
yellow.
need to pee. So it's yellow. Like my
I yellow.
I
It's not I yellow. It's like yeah. It's
yellow.
one sound.
Yellow.
It is. It's this weird like yellow.
Yellow.
It sounds like yellow, but it's like
Can you
if
say
you
it?
halfway between I yellow and yellow, like put together.
Yellow.
What do you want?